I'm just acting Chicallywood.
I take my mind out of this state of being an actor. I am a vessel, right?
Yeah.
I am a vessel.
Yeah.
So I don't look at a performance. I'm like, we're not performing. That's a prayer that's coming through you. That was inspiration of someone that was seen and someone that needs to be felt.
Yeah.
And now that's coming through you.
Wow.
So have some respect. Have some respect. I'm not going to play a cancer patient and then not have done homework on what that feels like, what that looks like, what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Because who am I to disrespect that person's walk?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. And real quick, before I want to say, I saw you in a particular play, and I'm sorry, the name is
I Can't Survive.
Man, but the way the wording of that was I
can like survive, SURVIVE was what it, but it was I can CAN dash I or I can sir VIVE.
Yes, and I saw you in this play, and Richard Gallion. Shout out to Richard Gallion. That was a Richard Gallion production, and man, you killed it.
Thank you.
I was like, because I'm not and to be honest, like I don't go to a lot of plays, but I have started. But the fact is, when I came to that, I was like, man, I seen you in a different light, in a way where I was like, wow, I've seen little like glimmers of other people like that, you know, and the way you embodied it, you know, it didn't come off as like, because you know some movies or productions that you come across in, you know, and this is no shade, but sometimes you like, okay, that person was acting, you know, they were doing a job. But when I saw you do your thing, I was like, wow, you know, it was so deep. It was like you was bringing a lot of different moving parts and elements to that character, you know. And I saw it was people in the audience because, you know, they were emotional about what they were seeing.
Yeah.
So when you strike that particular nerve, that means that you're, from my point of view, especially when I've seen it do this with music, you know, when people are like, you know, they're taking certain elements of what they see, and it's making them emotional.
They can relate.
Yeah.
They can relate.
Yeah.
Because again, not caring about being seen, but caring about being felt.
Yeah. So
and
you did a good job,
thank
man.
you.
You really, really did. Like
Thank
that was.
you.
I know that was probably like a tough role.
It was. That was a lot because that particular character changed my voice, changed my walk, changed how I looked at people. You know, just in my body, in my thoughts, in my thoughts when I can think about my grandfather, both my grandfathers, my grandmother, my cousin, my sisters, you know, like present. And what I'm supposed to do, ignore that? No, you're going to lay here in this bed on stage in this sick cancer bed, and as these people are talking around you, just like people were talking around her, you're screaming out for your mother. And I'm listening to that scream. So yeah, of course, when it's my time to speak, it's coming from a real place. I still hear the scream. I still hear my grandmother screaming for her mother when she was about to pass away. You see what I'm saying? It's like present.
Yeah. Being
present with what that was or what that could be. And again, a prayer. Being grateful that, like, I'm always really grateful that I get an opportunity to explore and tell a story that someone may need or that they didn't know that they need. Like, as artists, we hold a lot of value in being able to express emotion. You know, people talk about mental health. I like to also bring up emotional health, right?
Very important.
Feeling things, like how often do we allow ourselves to feel? How often do we close out feelings? So when you can turn on music just to keep that light on, because it makes you feel a way. When you can turn on a TV to keep that light on because it makes you feel a way. It allows you to know that you are still here, you are still alive, you still can be present. So as an artist, we have this wonderful opportunity to allow others to be okay with their expression.
Yeah.
We invite in the expression.
Wow. That's
I don't think that's nothing to play with.
that's what
I
I'm
don't
gonna say. That's super
It's
deep.
like, why don't for me,
Yeah.
now for me as a director, don't get up here and disrespect.
So
don't play around with that.
no, I feel you. My question is, has it been a performance that you've seen that, like as you've explained, everything that's kind of pretty much put you in this mindset of like, wow, that was moving, you know, or was it a movie? Have you seen anything or any piece of art that you was like, wow, this is really, really something, you know?
Those pieces of art would show up in my grandmother's kitchen when all of the cousins are laughing. Those pieces of art would show up when I'm pulling off of, I don't know, the expressway, and I see someone super duper cold and they're asking for $1. You get what I'm saying? The expression of art when I see a baby crying and all they want is milk. What performances? What performances?
Yeah.
What performances?
Man, nah, I get
What
it.
performances? You want to know what? Screw your performances, because once the camera stops, keep that mofo rolling and see what really happens to the actor. The real deal. No performances. What we doing?
Yeah. So, it's so many layers to you, man, and that's why I'm so glad that I'm able to peel them a little bit. So now, when you're directing, what is it like working with you? What are you looking for when you're directing?
You.
Okay. Yeah.
You.
All right.
I think directing, if I had to give it another name, or if I had to say what I feel like directing is, I would say you are working the gift of encouragement. I don't direct, I encourage. I encourage you to be free. I encourage you to let go. I encourage you to feel.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but I encourage you to get it out.
Yeah. Wow.
And if you're holding it in, I'm going to ask you, does that feel good to hold it in? 9 times out of 10, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sit with that
Yeah.
and invite you to be selfless, because somebody needs that. Somebody feels that. Don't close the curtain. Somebody needs that.
Yeah.
And we are all born a little bit for the next. I am not the type of director putting on that hat, sitting in that chair. I'm not the type of director that's going to say your line, or I have an idea of how you should say that line and I'm going to say it the way I think you should say it. A lot of directors don't know that they're doing this or have a habit of doing this, but they will direct you by saying the line how they feel like you should say the line.
Right.
Do you trust your actor or not? Pause. Do you trust that soul or not? So at this point, I only have a question for you. Was that good for you? Was that real? I don't got to tell you how to say it. What do you feel right now?
Right.
What do you feel? Oh, I feel this, I feel that. Okay, let that go. And then all of a sudden, you hear it kind of the way you thought it was going to come out.
It clicks.
You know, but not for you to give it to the person, because they got it.
Right.
We all got it. You think about if you wanted to go textbook. If you wanted to go textbook God and the Bible, it's like every emotion that we have, God took people out because of anger and jealousy. Love hard, can't stand you hard, will create a whole other people hard. So everything that we have, everything, you can't, the love that needs to be felt, you have it. The anger that needs to be felt, you have it. The kindness that needs to be felt, you have. We all have that in us.
Yeah.
How is it coming through you? And I'm literally watching eyes, ears, hands. Like if I see it in a foot and I tell you to hold your foot because you putting it in your foot, but it needs to come out of your mouth, hold your foot. And then it's going to funnel through and it's going to focus. You get what I'm saying? Like we put things in other places all the time.
I personally
I'm just acting Chicallywood.